Hello everyone, I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial and Mom, and in today's video we are back to recap Love After Lockup, Season 3, Episode 5, Roses on the Bed. And I guess that's a romantic gesture because everyone seemed to do it today whose partner came home. So let's get into the video. So our first couple that we start off with is Shawn and Destiny, and Shawn drops the bombshell on her that he has 6 kids. She's like, what? She actually seemed really surprised and kind of offended, like, sir, you didn't tell me anything about this?
Well, she was upset because it's like, all this time we wrote in prison and you never told me? He's like, no, I guess I forgot. How do you forget?
You don't forget. He just lied to lie. But then later on we found out that, Destiny wasn't really tripping about his age.
No.
She was just more so tripping about the kids because it's like, who lies about kids, for one? And two, she wasn't really tripping like that because she has some secrets of her own too. And she's like, I'm not going to say anything. Never. So she asked him, well, what else are you lying about? He's like, nothing. She was like, well, so how long were you with your baby mom? He was like, oh, for like this amount of years. But, I haven't tried to get back with her in like some time. But then in the confessional, of course, he lied again and said that they tried to rekindle the relationship a year ago, which makes even more sense why his baby mama is tripping and slightly salty because she still wants to be with him. But then she asked a question, well, who else were you with? He was like, well, I did try it with somebody else a year ago. And I'm like, if you're gonna give that information, how come you just didn't tell Destiny instead of lying again to her for her to eventually find out, because we know that she is. It's just a whole mess. And once again, reneges on his comment on not trying to build a relationship with someone based off of lies.
Whew, did you get that off your chest?
I told you I had a bone to pick with him since episode 3, and it's not going away.
Well, you did say that his kid's mom probably had the tea. And she does have the tea. I mean, clearly if you have to lie to Destiny about who you was with and that you didn't really want to tell her about getting back with your kid's mom, I mean, you have 6 kids. Sometimes things like that happens. But on the way to the hotel, the conversation is just about a little bit of everything. And what we learned is Destiny is a Spitfire. She's exactly who she was in those phone calls to Shawn before he got there, because she is just telling him what she's gonna do, what she wants, how she wants to do it, and he just needs to be about it.
That's what you got from that whole conversation?
I did, because Shawn isn't telling the truth. He's driving, he's also thinking to himself like, oh, there's more I need to tell her, but I don't know how. Just say it. I mean, you've already spent upwards of $50,000, but later we find out is more of like $100,000 total. I'm like, wow. For someone you've only known 3 months and you've never seen, Shawn.
How do you spend that much money on someone but don't even take the time to go see them?
I don't know. Well, now they arrive at the hotel and I guess it's time for romance. He has roses
on the bed, all romantic gesture. What I found to be interesting about the scene was we found out that Destiny said that she swings both ways. And even though she's not in prison no more, she still has all the plans to do so with or without his approval. And I was like, Destiny said she's out here living her best life. Plus, we later found out that Shawn has a little problem with her drinking.
Yeah.
And she's moving to Vegas with him, which was, I said earlier in the season, that it's not going to work out too well because there's just so much temptation in Vegas, especially with drinking, gambling, partying. And that's all the things that she wants to do. But then she also said that she wants to settle down. I don't see it working. Then we see Yesker and Maurice. And all I'm asking is for WeTV to please find Maurice a different photo that's more flattering.
I mean, are you serious?
Yes.
He has several different photos of himself and with Jessica with blonde and brunette hair. So he has different photos.
Well, I don't like the one that they use in the intro.
Okay.
But anyways, so he finally gets to go see his daughter today. And I was really excited for him and mostly the daughter because, you know, she finally gets to see her dad outside of jail. But when they pull up to his baby mom's house, we found out that Jessica said that she had a lot of communication with his daughter. How did she have this much communication with his daughter, but she hasn't had any communication with his baby mom? And when she was at the house, she wasn't even speaking to the daughter from what we saw. So I'm like, was it like a 3-way call that she had on the phone with him? Because we know that's not legal. Or did the baby mom have a conversation or something? I just want to know how that happened for her to feel so isolated and awkward at the baby mom's house.
Well, that was a mysterious kind of thing. Like, how did you talk to her without talking to the mom? So maybe that'll come out along the way. But the thing that she's really upset with is, like, he didn't introduce her. And I have to give Jessica a little bit on that. You could at least said, hey, this is Jessica, so on and so forth. Because why not?
I mean, I'm going to go for the benefit of the doubt that they knew that she was coming along. And whenever you go into someone's house, you are supposed to speak. But it's like, what is he really supposed to introduce you for? Because that's not his family. That's the girl's family. Honestly, I felt like she could have waited in the car.
No, it's still rude. And he asked her to come along. So you should have introduced, this is Jessica, regardless. But when they left, Jessica was so upset. She got in the car, sitting there with her phone like, why didn't you introduce me? Why this? Why that? And Maurice was like, that's my daughter's family. That's not my family. She's like, well, I would never do this to you. He was like, looking at her like kind of like, well, that's you.
I was with Maurice on that. I just didn't see the point of him really introducing her like that. And if she really wanted to have conversation, I felt like she could have had a conversation. But I feel like she just feels so awkward and doesn't really know what to say. To me, like, it feels like she's living in a fantasy and now she's getting a reality and she doesn't know how to handle it.
The next day, we see Maurice and Jessica at his cousin's house. I guess they're going to stay there while they're waiting for his parole to decide whether he could come to Vegas or not.
How long is she going to stay there for?
As long as her man is there.
I don't think she's going to stay no longer than a month.
Well, she wants to come back home because that's where home is, of course. Work, job, family, everything. Of course she's uncomfortable. She's going to be uncomfortable anywhere because this is not her family. This is not what she's used to. Because one of the main things she keeps saying is, you know, he's a crypt and I don't want to live in Compton. I don't want to live in Compton. Like, this is the Wizard of Oz.
Right. That's why earlier I said I felt like she's living in a fantasy because she already knew all these things about him. So I don't know why it seemed like a surprise. Maybe it's a surprise because, you know, he can't go nowhere for right now. I felt like in this particular scene at the cousin's house, when the cousin was showing all the obituaries of the people he knew died, this could have been the moment that she could have empathized with him, and instead of just feeling so awkward and alone, just to try to comfort him because these are his real friends. Like, this is his real life. This isn't a game or anything that she thinks that it is.
Jessica had a reality check by everything she witnessed today. She just really thought that he would come out and be able to move forward to come to Vegas. But one thing that they did not do was get paperwork in order in advance to see if they could come. So a lot of that stems on them by not being prepared.
Our next couple is Chevelle and Quaylen. And I am so happy for Quaylen because he looks ecstatic that he is out of jail after these 12 years. He's going to eat everything on the menu or that anybody can get for him. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
And his mom too, because this is mom who also had the extra burden. But his mom really wants him to move to Houston because she does not want him to get caught up in what he was when he was 17 years old. And that's the whole reason why she says she moved. And he said he's not moving because Chevelle doesn't want to move. She wants to stay there. And that's that. And plus, he said, you know, this is his own life to live. It's his choices, so he doesn't want to live in fear. But I feel like the better move might be to move somewhere else because he said he's always gotten in trouble. So why not try something different?
Well, there is definitely a conflict of interest. You go be with your family who you know loves you, who will stand by you, who has stood behind you, not for just 12 years, all your life, or be with your girl who you want to start something with, or so you feel you want to for right now, and have a little romance or whatever. But one of the interesting things that Quaylen said was he started getting in trouble
at 10.
Yeah, around 10, 11. You know, he also used to be a straight A student, but eventually life took over, and whatever he did got him in prison at the age of 17 to 29. So that's a huge span he missed. And I feel that yes, he can get maybe a little bit more what's going on in the world from Chevelle and whatever else they can do together as adults.
Get the grown woman.
Right. Versus mom and family. So I can see the conflict of interest there. But Quaylen's mom did go on to say, like, you know, we moved purposely, the family, from Kansas City to Houston just so that you won't get in trouble, which you touched on earlier. And he just doesn't know. So
how do you feel about that?
I mean, if it was me, I would feel the same way his mom feels. It's just a huge conflict of interest.
Well, Quaylen has to have his own life too.
But while they're having that conversation, pretty much when he's asked to choose to come with whoever, Chevelle's like, no, that's not going to happen. Now, see that right there? I don't know if I like that. You can say that like in your mind, but out loud. I think she wanted Quaylen's approval or whatever to be like, yeah, mom, we're not going. But she didn't necessarily get that. But
I think she got it. She got it in her face, but I didn't feel that it was 100%.
After they finished eating, what we learned is Chevelle called a car service to pick up Miss Quaylandria to take her to a friend's house so her and Chevelle could have a night. Now, did they have a separate hotel room or did they have the same hotel room?
I don't remember, but I guess it doesn't really matter because she got the car for her. Chevelle set up the room with the roses on the bed. Quaylen looked so happy and so giddy going to that hotel room because he knew what was about to happen and he was excited for it. Chevelle said she got that grown woman for him and it looked like it was a done deal after that. Now we see mom's boy, Tyrese, and Shonda. He said that he got a hotel right by where she's at in prison. So, you know, because she only has 4 hours when she gets out. He said he's going to look good. Had on his blue Steve Harvey suit with some alligator blue boots. I was like, okay, Tyrese. He was dressed up. He said he want to smell good, look good, feel good. I'm like, okay.
Well, to begin, that is not my boy. I am not impressed. But he did have on his blue Steve Harvey suit with his old school Stacey Adams.
I don't even know what that is.
Those are shoes.
Well, we didn't get to see Chandra. We don't know if she's coming out. He had his binoculars on. He was keeping track of time. He was like, it's 5 minutes past. Where is she? I'm like, could you wait a little bit?
Right,
They
5
don't get
minutes.
out on time. I feel like sometimes in the system they do that on purpose just because they can. But I was like, he said he wanted to smell good, but you gonna light up a cigarette?
His nerves was bad.
He need to chew some gum or something because he no longer smells good if he lit up a cigarette.
You know what? What you didn't say was, you know, he chose Shonda because, you know, he was married before, but that was out of lust. He wants one woman. He knows Shonda is a loyal communicator, and he knows she's going to like all this.
He figured that out in 3 months, and only thing he talks about is her booty.
And after all that, Shonda never comes out. Now, the producer did say, so do you think you're being ditched or you think she left? He's like, no. Nah, she wouldn't do that.
So
As other cars were zooming past, nah, she wouldn't do that.
I kind of hope she did. Then we finally get to wrap up with Scott and Lindsey. So Scott made it back home. He calls over Lindsey's family because they all want to know where Lindsey is. Lindsey's daughter wants to know where her mom is because she misses her mom.
Yeah, she was devastated. Can you blame her?
No, I couldn't. That's the only person who I feel sad for.
No, the mom too, because the mom has to raise her granddaughter, and sometimes it's like that, but she shouldn't have to.
So while they're on the phone with the prison, of course, Scott couldn't get any answers because he's not married to her. So why would they give her any personal information? But then he tries to pass the phone to the mom on speakerphone. But then it's like they definitely can't pass information because they know that the mom is on speakerphone. So they're not going to give any personal information at this moment of time.
Not just that, it's not about the information. It's like, is there anything that could be said? You have to have a release for all that stuff. But Scott just wants to have answers now, and he did get an answer. She's still there.
I wonder what for.
Well, the mom said Lindsey is good at being bad. So Scott went on to say, well, Lindsey is attractive, and there's people that's jealous of her in prison.
That
and
has nothing to do with nothing.
She's been in fights before because of that. I'm like, that's what Lindsey told you.
All right, so that was the end of this week's episode. And I'm curious to see who is going to go off the show to bring on the new couple. Is it going to be Scott and Lindsey, or is it going to be Chandra and Tyrese? I'm kind of hoping that it's Scott and Lindsey because I need some more of the Chandra and Tyrese story. I just need more information.
It could be John and Christiana, because remember, she was on time to the halfway house. It could be Jessica and Maurice. I mean, honestly, it could be anybody.
At this point, but let us know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. And who do you think is going to get kicked off the show so we can finally see the new couple? So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. You share this video to other people who watch Love After Lockup. And you become a subscriber to our channel because we have finally made to 500 subscribers. So we're going to be going live next Sunday. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you all for watching. And as always, live simply, be grateful.